Welcome to the Me and
D Show,
where we talk about anything from stand-up comedy to
horror and anything in between.
And today we've got a special guest, right?
That's right.
Are you excited?
I'm very excited.
I'm excited too. We're in Pasadena, California today. It is absolutely gorgeous out here. We can't wait to show you our special guest. You ready for the questions?
I'm ready for the questions.
They're weird, right?
They're always weird.
They're always weird. All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. Hi, Joe. How are you doing today, man?
I'm great, Don. How you doing?
Alrighty, guys. So this is my special guest today. His name is Joe. Are you guys ready for some insane, zany questions today?
Bring it on. Let's do it.
All right, right over here. Let's sit down.
Let's do it.
All right. Okay. So here's the first question for you, okay? Would you ride a zebra to be in a sitcom for 12 episodes?
I would absolutely ride a zebra to be in a sitcom for 12 episodes. In fact, my agent asked me that same question when I first met her, and included actually entailing me being nude on the zebra. and I was like, sign me up. So yes, please, nudity, zebra, whatever you got going on, I'm all for it.
Awesome, dude. All right. So would you name your son Stargate for $10,000?
Actually, you know, when I was in college, I dated a woman, and we named the Stargate was the name of her fish, of her pet fish. So I probably would not name it Stargate. My son, by the way, unless this son, does he have to be mine?
I'm gonna say just for the question anyway, yeah.
Do you have the $10,000 with you now? Because if you do, I can make a call. We can make this happen, and I will name a child Stargate and claim it to be mine. There's actually a couple in the park here. We can grab one or two, and we can call them whatever you want. If you got $10,000, we'll do it. Yes.
All right. I see you. On a serious note, though, what is your writing process like?
My writing process is not the traditional writing process. I'm not one of those people who will wake up in the morning and like start to journal, like put a pen to paper for like 10 minutes, and it's just like this free association and whatever comes. I'm not that traditional or at all, actually. What I tend to do is I mix 2 tablespoons of chili powder with a tablespoon of ground coriander, 2 teaspoons of salt, a half a tablespoon of paprika, and I mix it all together and I seal it for about 12 hours. And I let all of that permeate and like basically just kind of hang out together in a sealed jar.
Okay.
Right? And 12 hours later, I unseal it and I open it up, and the aroma fills the room with jokes. It's pretty interesting. I know it's not something everybody would do, but it works for me. But really, on a serious note, I listen a lot of improv, a lot of writing on the fly and acting out, if you will, saying it out loud, and especially with stand-up, because it's got to be some more conversational, right?
Yeah.
So what you want to, it's like, I like to think of it as like, and a lot of people refer to this way as well, where you're taking someone on this little path down the road, and it seems to be going, oh, we're all used to this path. We know the path. It seems familiar. And then all of a sudden you just, boom, you take them off a cliff.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of this long form. Let's take this long map to get to the end of the journey. And sometimes you lose interest along the way, but I know I still have you some way along. Like what I'm doing right now is just like, I'll draw it out and then I'll acknowledge, like, wasn't that a long journey? But like, I'm listening to how the crowd is reacting, or crowd or the audience, and in general, in the audience, and you're writing it on the fly. Also, I write at home all the time. It's just whatever strikes me whenever. I'm not that kind of guy who sits down and like, there's no regimen or schedule. It's just, I just do it. And
sometimes you have to just kind of just go with it instead of thinking too much about it, which I totally agree about.
I think that's what kind of, it's paralyzed me in the past. is that like, oh, I'm this weekend, I'm going to write. I'm going to finish a character outline for this script, and you get this grand ambition. And sometimes it's not a problem to have that plan, and you will accomplish it. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes it becomes like this big ambitious project, and you build it up in your head as something that it's not, and then you don't do it, and you put it off because you want to go clean the floor or vacuum or something like that, and then it's now Sunday, and you haven't written a thing, and that idea slowly fades to the background, and it never ever sees its potential.
Okay.
It could paralyze you. So I just kind of let it happen lightly. Don't force it.
Okay. I think that's the best way to go when it comes to writing anyway. Don't force it, just kind of let it flow.
Yeah.
What is your opinion, honest opinion, on bringer shows?
I got a couple points of view on it, actually. They don't bother me. They don't really bother me, period, like at all. It's a business model that ensures that there's going to be people in a club adhering to a 2-drink minimum. I've done them. I think that it's, I wouldn't call it necessary or an evil, if you will, but it's a chance to perform, right? A stage is a stage. Not only is it a chance to perform, but it's a chance to grow your business. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is. It's a business, and this is your business as the comedian.
Yeah.
Don Incorporated. And any business model that succeeds is going to include some kind of promotion. And what is a bringer show? It's the club expecting you to bring people to see you perform and promote the show and the club and everything else. And as a comedian, you're probably thinking, well, I'm an artist, I'm a performer, I don't do any of that. Well, yeah, that's part of your job description, because although I am a performer, I am an artist, a writer, a hand model, whatever you want to call it, I have to promote myself as a commodity. I have to market myself still, regardless. I can't rely on anyone else to do it. So, yeah, it's okay. You do what's best for your business, because that is your business at the end of the day.
Yeah. Would you say it's kind of like an exchange kind of thing? Where it's like,
it can be. I mean, I think there's people who will take advantage of you because of that system of the bringer show system.
Yeah. Where
you will never really grow out of it. And it's up to you to acknowledge it and see it for what it is. If there are some schools that you can go to, art schools, colleges, universities, where you're not really going there for the degree, you're going there to make contacts. Once you meet your contacts and you've networked, you branch out before graduation and you save yourself about $50,000 in student loans and all that other BS. And you go right into the industry and you start working. There's so many ways you can do it, but you don't have to I don't know. You're going into business for yourself. You're an independent contractor. However you do it, whether you're an accountant, stand-up comedian, a janitor, whatever you're doing, that's your business. So do what's best for your business. If you think going on and doing bringer shows is good for your business and you can grow from it, who am I to tell you that's a bad move? Only time will tell. The market will play itself out, right?
Yeah.
If people buy into it, they'll be there at the club. If not, then they won't be there.
That's understandable. I think it's a fair point of view to kind of look at it. And now this question is very important. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Have you ever pissed your pants in public?
I'm sure I have. But
because I have, and it's embarrassing.
How old were you?
14.
14.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, 14. All right. So some things are just uncontrollable, right? Except in this case, well, especially in this case, your bladder became uncontrollable, huh? At 14, what were you doing? Were you in a car? What was the environment? What was the situation?
I was getting home from school one day, and the bathrooms were under construction, and I had to run home, and I had my keys stuck in the thread of my pocket, and I tried to get the keys out in time, and by the time I got in the house, right when I got to the bathroom, it just happened.
But that's not in public.
Oh no, there were guests over.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was embarrassing.
All right, wow. Okay. This is like, all right. My honest answer to this is very similar to yours. Yeah, I did not pee in public. I probably have actually, but the question, what sparks in my mind, my experience was similar. It was at night, no construction at my house, but like you know, how, like when you're young, you go out in the summer and it's like 8 o'clock turns to 9 o'clock, and the you know you see the color night is officially there.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I felt a rumble in my tummy, and I was 3 blocks away from my parents' house. And it's like that guy in American Pie, the movie. He doesn't poo in school.
Oh yeah.
I
remember that.
I forget his name, but he won't take a dump inside the school. He always has to go home to do it or whatever. So like similar situation. I was like, I'm 3 blocks from home. I think I can get home in time to make it so I can just be okay. And I'm going home, and I'm like, I'm clinching, man. I'm doing everything I can to make sure that this does not happen. And I get home, nothing got stuck in the pocket. Everything was fine. My mom had guests over as well at the same time, and they're in the dining room, and I gotta cut through the dining room to get to the bathroom. So like I gotta pass these people, right? And I walk in such a huff, like a rush. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
My mom's like, whoa, what are you doing here? And everyone's like, hi, Joe, how are you? And I'm like, I couldn't even get a word, like a complete sentence out. It was all like just jumbled words. And I get into the bathroom and I open the door, I'm in the bathroom, I close it, and I unbuckle my pants, my everything's ready to go. And I'm like, at the last second, everything just,
oh no.
like I had gotten like this close to the finish line. And then now keep in mind, I'm in the bathroom that I had to cut through a dining room with a bunch of guests at a table like this. And I had to get my mother's, I could have just walked out and walked back like, hey, this is no big deal. How you doing? Good to see you. Like I couldn't cause like the minute I'm a popular guy. So like I come out of the bathroom, they're all going to want to say, hey, Joe, I have to stop at the table. Right.
Yeah.
So I have to find a way out of this situation altogether and like not be known or smell up the place.
Yeah.
Being in the press. So I somehow get my mom's attention. She comes in the bathroom and I'm like, hey, this is the situation here. I need you to bring me some new underpants and like a pair of shorts. And I need you to do this very quietly. And so she does, and it was just such a weird, this is all coming out to me, like as I'm telling you the story, it's all coming back to me. I was like maybe 10 at the time.
Oh man.
And yeah. So I didn't pee, but I shat. And this was like, and once it was all done, I was cleaned up. I walked out of there like light as a feather, man. I was like, like a weight had been lifted or dumped off my shoulder. It was just, it felt wonderful. How about it, man?
Man.
Yeah, weren't expecting that, were you?
No, I was not expecting that.
Thanks for coming on the journey. That was a little bit of a long map, but we got there.
No, we got there indeed, man. No, it's a pleasure asking these questions, man.
Oh, it was my pleasure to answer them. Thank you for having me, man.
Of course, man. Of course.
Let's do this again.
How was Jonathan's questions, man?
They were good, man. I was a little thrown off, but it was like, hey, you have to think about this stuff a little bit. You just don't spit answers out.
No, I actually write those questions.
You wrote those questions.
Yeah, that kind of gives you an idea of how my mind thinks, right? Which really doesn't. I actually sat down and wrote those in about 15 seconds.
I should have shown this to my manager, who never calls me anymore, to make sure that this was the right shoot to be a part of.
This is right. You have a manager?
I have a manager.
Look at you, man.
A manager. I have agents. I have a PR department.
Wow.
I have things I don't need.
Things that you don't need? Yes. I have none of that. I was actually I was emceeing one of my shows, and one of the girls that I that I put on the show, she says, I have 13 IMDb credits. And I go, wow, that's 13 more than I have because I have none.
Yeah.
Zero.
I
I was like, wow, that's amazing. Okay, great.
I have like I think 2 or 3, and like I
Mm-hmm.
I should have 7, but like I don't know. It's weird getting them approved on IMDb. It's like whatever, dude. You know, you'll find me on my reels and all that other stuff. if you
Okay,
really
which I
want
know
to.
nothing about. I know
Yeah.
zero about that.
Well,
Nothing about that. But just a little segue here. What is one of the worst things that you've ever done to a friend? I mean, I've done some pretty shitty things, but what's one of the worst things you've ever done?
the worst thing I've ever done to a friend.
Mm-hmm.
I was probably 10. The same year I crapped in my pants and
Nice.
in the family bathroom.
Incidentally, I've never crapped in my pants.
It's okay.
I've peed my pants.
I'm pretty sure I did too. And it's like the
Yeah.
minute it happened, it was kind of like,
Mm.
although it was embarrassing,
Mm.
peeing in your pants or
Sure.
pooing in your pants at the
Pooing
time.
in your pants.
But like to get to that point and like, again, and it's embarrassing, but you're like, it's over.
Sure.
The struggle, no matter
The
how,
struggle's over. You're just
No
left with
matter-
the result.
yeah, I know, but no matter how hard it was up until that point, whether you
Mhm.
were the victor or not,
Sure.
it was over.
Yeah, I don't know if
The,
there's. I
the
don't,
battle was done.
I'm not sure if anyone is a victor in that.
There are
at
no
all.
victors in this.
I don't
but
think
like,
there
again,
are. in
The
that,
battle
no.
was over. The war, like a treaty, an understanding had come to place.
Sure,
Evidently,
sure.
where someone's pants was going to get filled with
Someone's
poop.
pants. Yeah,
You know?
the pants. End up with the final result.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But to go back to your question,
The friend.
same year, I still have this friend, but this was like I was 10. So
You were 10,
yeah.
and you have a friend since
Oh yeah.
now.
Yeah. Oh,
since
sure.
since 10, you still have the same friend.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I mean,
amazing.
we're not in touch like I mean like that, but like
Okay.
we're cool.
Okay.
You know, I mean,
All right, you're
you know,
cool.
for all as far as I know.
Right on. You started signing.
That's what I tell you.
You're
They're gonna be
rewatching
like,
this,
"There's
you're
no way you
we're
guys
not
are cool." No, but like you know, I called him a racial slur to his face.
You did.
Yeah.
What'd you call him?
I called him the N-word.
You did.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Was
did.
it because you just didn't know what it was and you heard it and you repeated it to kind of test the waters,
Yeah.
or what's going on?
Oh yeah.
Am I leading the conversation now?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm leading the conversation.
No,
a
no,
little
you're
bit.
right though. Like, no,
Okay.
that's a good follow-up question. Actually, it's I said it out loud to him, like you, whatever,
Okay.
and I just don't know what I was thinking when I said it or
Okay.
why I did it.
But you were 10.
I was 10,
Right.
and I didn't understand the weight the word carried when I said it.
Okay.
Obviously, you're 10,
Sure. Got it.
but I found out really quick, right after I said it, and that's where it's like, whoa, and that was not only the worst thing I've ever done to a friend, but it's the worst feeling I've ever had, and like avoid that. That's never happened since.
You know what makes situations like this really scary is when you look at the scientific aspect of it. Did you know that the human brain does not fully develop until you're 25?
Yeah, I've heard that.
So you have 25 years of mistakes that you've made with
Oh,
like
yeah.
half a brain.
And those were like at 10. Just imagine
That's
what came
crazy,
after
right?
10 to
Yeah.
25.
Yeah, because I mean, you're more dangerous now,
Oh yeah.
with reacting to things, and the frontal part of your brain is not fully developed yet.
Right.
That's like the biggest joke.
Yeah.
Of all time.
And most of the time you don't find out until like you're in your 40s.
Right.
That hey man, this is what it all is, and
Yeah.
wow.
Right. Crazy, right?
You know? And that's where I think like a lot of like you get that guilt that people walk around with all the time, and
You
they're
have
always,
guilt.
I think everybody feels guilt.
You think so?
To a degree. That's why I think what holds us back the most is fear and guilt,
Oh, okay.
and like feeling that you did something wrong, and then you hold yourself accountable and you feel guilty for it and you carry it with you.
I gotcha.
And that's
You're-
like
You're talking more of integrity is what I think
Yeah.
you're talking about. You're doing the right thing when no one's looking.
kinda.
Kind of.
But then, like there's also like this feeling like you're just not good enough, and that's I think that's behind a lot of the behaviors.
Okay.
And,
All right.
and like it's a reaction.
It's deep.
Yeah, totally. It
It's
is.
very deep.
But so are magic mushrooms. But like, no, there's a lot of truth to that. Where it's like I think like there's this fear of not being good enough at all, and you hide
Oh,
that fear
I see.
inside, but your behavior and your actions sometimes will show that fear in ways that aren't really, that's not who you are, but like that's how it gets represented.
So that's the worst thing you've done to someone is you said a racial slur to your friend when you were 10.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing.
I also don't pay taxes, but really,
You don't pay taxes. Okay, you probably don't make enough money to pay taxes.
No, I do pay taxes. I'm kidding. Come on. You guys get that? I pay my taxes.
They're all going to be looking into you now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's bad, but you were 10, okay? And it's
Yeah.
not to excuse it or anything like that, but trials and tribulations as a kid, mistakes
Yeah.
are made.
But
Okay,
I mean,
so-
I think a year and a half later, I robbed a store with this person. You know what I mean?
Did
like,
you?
It was a year and a half later, yeah. So like, I mean,
What do you mean robbed a store? Do you mean you just went and stole some gum?
No, well, no. So this is a fun story.
Oh, fun.
So there's 3 of us actually who did this.
Oh, 3 of you.
And
Okay.
I was in grade school, 5th grade.
Is this incriminating by any chance?
No, not at
Okay.
this point.
All right, okay, gotcha.
So
All
in the 5th grade, I and 2 of my friends,
Okay.
we would go during lunch. 'Cause you can leave the campus if you live close enough. You know, you go home for lunch.
Okay, is this high school?
No,
No.
elementary.
Elementary school.
Yeah, you wouldn't do this today in elementary. There's
you?
no way that elementary
No, there's
school
no way.
would let you leave the property.
No way.
Once
it's all
you're there,
fenced in.
You're in prison until
That's
3:15.
that's right. Yeah.
So we would be able to go home for lunch, or if you can stay for lunch. There was a Pizza Hut like a block away.
Pizza
Across
Hut.
the street from the Pizza Hut
Got it.
was this coin shop,
Coin shop.
vintage coin and
Mm.
stamps. And this guy had binders full of
And
women.
stamps.
No, I'm kidding. Little Mitt Romney joke for you from 2012.
Nice.
Thank you. If anyone's really gets the, whatever.
Got
So
it.
anyways, he had binders full of these baseball cards.
Nice.
And they were like, I'm a big White Sox fan, as these 2 gentlemen are as well.
Okay.
And the White Sox, this guy had like little page after page, 3 cards a row, 3 rows.
Mm.
And these were like really, they weren't mint condition cards, but they were like rookie cards of Harold Baines, who I grew up like.
They're valuable.
To me, yeah. I was like,
Gotcha.
yeah, that's like dollar signs
Got it.
and all this stuff.
Sweet.
So we'd go a couple times. And
Funny how you knew that in elementary that these were valuable baseball cards.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I find that very interesting.
we had Beckett's. We were, I mean, at the the little
No,
the
I remember all
magazines
that.
and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I remember that.
And so like we knew what was like, wow, that's a rookie card or whatever. And if there was an error on a card, like Billy Ripken from the Orioles had,
Really?
he held a bat like this in his baseball picture.
Oh.
And the knob at the bat, on the bottom of his bat, he wrote like fuckface or something like that.
Nice.
So like,
I like it.
you're posing, it's right there on the camera,
Got
and
it.
they pick it up and they publish it and release it. So now this is card,
Mhm.
however they publish, are now in circulation. It's a valuable card all of a sudden.
Okay.
So like we would look for stuff like this. And then after like 3 or 4 days, we got to talking, the guys, and we were like, I've noticed every time we come in, and he takes out the binders, he puts them down on the counter, and then he walks in the back, and he's gone until whenever we leave. We don't see him again.
So you guys are scoping this thing out.
It was just something, an observation.
Doing a whole like Ocean's 13 thing going on here
Kind of, but not.
in elementary.
Yes. Keep in mind, we were a block away from the school. So
Nice.
this was like, this is an in and
Right
out.
on, man.
Boom, right?
Oh, in and out. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
gotcha. Sorry, I didn't know the
We knew
lingo.
what we were doing here.
Gotcha.
So like,
all right.
so he goes and we were like, so like, if we wanted to, we could easily like grab a binder or 2 and bolt, and he wouldn't even know.
He wouldn't notice the whole binder's gone.
We would just walk out and be like, thanks for everything, see you later, and then like, bolt. So we hatched the plan,
Gotcha.
put it into action. It was
yeah.
during lunch.
Blueprints. Understand.
Yes, it was like Danny Ocean, like you said.
Yeah,
with,
yeah. I hear
Brad
you.
Pitt.
Wow, look at you. Very sophisticated.
So one guy, he holds up the door. He's got the door open, so like it's easy in and out.
Mhm.
I mean, everything's going according to plan, of course.
Got it.
Comes in, puts the binders down. He goes into the back. My buddy and I whom I use that slur with, we both grabbed a binder each or something like that.
Okay.
And we bolt out the door. And we run back to school and
Okay.
we put them in our lockers.
Nice.
And now we're bragging, like, look who we
Yeah, I
pulled
know.
off.
You guys took it with a whole binder.
We're 10-year-old or 12-year-old kids, and we're
Yes.
bragging about, like, we just pulled off a heist.
There you go. Just confiscated something.
Yeah.
Good
And
for
like
you.
word traveled pretty quick.
I bet.
And we were all of a sudden separated from everyone, put into a library where nobody would talk to us until whatever.
Gotcha.
Then we were suspended for like 5 days.
Okay. So the
Um,
interrogation process was pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we brought stolen property into school property.
Right.
So
That was the fault of the plan.
yeah, that's what got us suspended. Had we not done that, we would have gone to school the next morning, no problem.
Gotten away with it. No
Might not
problem.
have gotten out of jail the night before, but yeah.
Gotcha.
So anyway, so we got suspended for like 2 weeks, no, 5 days,
5 days.
and then the next day our parents went to go renegotiate the sentencing with the principal and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
And they came up with, well, we'll give you 3 days, but they got to clean the cafeteria after
Right.
lunch, for
Which
2
has nothing to
weeks.
do with stealing the cards.
Nothing at all. not at any point has anybody asked for the cards back too. No, I'm kidding. They did eventually.
Sure.
We gave them
I'm
back.
sure. So the school got some free labor and then you had to give back the cards.
Well, the free labor lasted 1 day
1 day.
because they gave us water bottles
Gotcha.
and you have to squirt the soap.
It is the
water.
county, so they don't work that hard.
No, they don't.
They
but
don't.
we kind of got into a water bottle fight.
Of course.
And then
That sounds-
next thing you know,
That sounds typical of government workers.
someone got it in the eye, right? And then,
Yeah.
then it was burning and like, oh,
Yeah, I
I'm
got
not gonna say who, but like next thing you know, like, yeah, you guys are done cleaning. Thank you.
Okay.
We're good. Let's go back
Gotcha.
to class.
Liability concerns.
Exactly.
I understand.
And then we never went back into the coin shop.
Gotcha.
At least I never did.
I don't
I
blame
did.
you.
I did. I had
We
to
were
go
smart
back.
enough not to go back to the scene of the crime.
No, I had to go back. I had.
Oh,
to,
you did?
Part of the deal was because he didn't press charges.
Oh, that's good.
This is interesting. He says to me, I said, hey, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know
sure.
what I was thinking. I'm stupid. And please accept my apology. I will never do something like this again.
Sure.
And he says to me, I didn't even see you or the other boy, but I did see the corn silk hair or whatever, like call it corn cob hair
Uh-huh.
of the guy holding the door.
Oh.
That guy was on my video camera. And I almost released the video to the 5 o'clock news or whatever.
Oh.
Like he brought that up and said
Gotcha.
that. And I was just like, whoa, thank you for
So there's some
sharing.
blind spots with the camera. That's,
Oh, yeah, exactly.
That's the takeaway I get from that.
My buddy
That's
and
the
I would
takeaway.
have gotten away
You
with
would've
it
gotten
if
away.
it weren't for holding the damn door open.
There you go. There
Harold
you go.
Baines rookie cards.
Learning experience. So next time you'll be more successful when you steal some cards.
Well, we found
you go.
out that we got better with Al's Sports Shop over at the Calendar Court Mall 3 weeks later, man.
Good,
No,
good job. Good job.
I'm kidding.
So you telling me that story, I can't help to notice that you are missing some hair on top. So
Yeah.
So when exactly did you start going bald?
It was during my terrible twos, about June 1st, 1979.
Okay.
I think.
Sorry. Gotcha.
No, it was probably like about 99-ish. Like it started to thin and make its presence known that there
Okay.
was a scalp.
And it just
underneath.
didn't come back.
No, and I actually welcomed it.
Oh, okay.
I encouraged it.
So you like it
I'm okay with it. I accept it. In fact, I encourage everybody
to go bald?
No, not necessarily go bald.
Oh.
Because I know. See, I'm not as attached to my hair as some people are
Gotcha.
attached to my hair.
Gotcha.
So my advice to most people is that, like, hey, I don't plan to replace what you see. So enjoy what you have with us right now as much as you can. So if you want to touch my hair, or if you want to do it now,
You should
because
just charge people.
but now
to
is the
touch- to
time to
touch
do
your
it.
hair.
Don't you understand? Because like I'm not replacing. Once this is gone, it is boom.
Yeah.
We're done. We're not replacing.
You should hang your sign around your neck that says,
No, if you don't
$10
know, you don't know.
$10 a touch.
It's if you know, you know. That's not a bad idea. Actually. Like $10 a time, because it's fine, but it's soft, and it's not bad.
Yeah.
But I
It's gonna be $10 for a touch, and then with a picture, it's 20.
and if you want even a slice of the DNA,
There you go.
extra 5.
That's an extra 5.
Yeah, a
what
slice of
that
DNA.
is.
That's what this is.
There you
really.
go.
It's not hair. It's just DNA.
It's DNA.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
I
crime
like
scene
that.
evidence, man.
Okay.
So get rid of it.
All right. So some of your goals here in LA is to be an actor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's be an actor. I mean, eventually. I mean, I know you do stand up. You and I have been on shows
I
together.
am an
We've had a great
I'm a
time.
working actor.
You're an working actor.
Yeah.
Okay.
I audition and I've booked 7 commercials.
Look at you, man. Commercials are hard to get too.
Yeah.
They're very hard to get.
I lucked out with a really wonderful agent, and they get me out. I go far in the process. What I do book has been amazing experiences. They're like life changing.
I mean, that's amazing. I've never been on an audition other than stand-up comedy. So
Yeah.
I don't have any experience in that realm at all.
You know, it's all my experience as an actor has been just auditions. Like I took improv in high school,
Okay.
and I took Improv Olympic, Iowa West here in LA.
Okay.
One or 2 classes, and the rest was like just be yourself and go out there. And
Okay.
you know, if you get that agent and you have that opportunity and you get to sign with them, they get you out. Every audition is like an acting class.
Okay. Well, I've never heard that before. Of course, I don't know anything else either. But
Well, I mean, you go in there and you're going to learn something about yourself and
Okay.
how you handled it and approached it, and
makes sense.
you made choices in there. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. You're going to find out instantly, because it's like stand-up comedy when you're in the room and you're telling that joke on stage. And if that joke is funny, they're going to instantly laugh. If you make the guy behind the camera laugh
Mhm.
in the audition, or the casting director or the producers in the room, they're audience members. So like if you're able to do that, then you're doing your job.
Okay. Well, that
But if
makes
you
total
can't-
sense to me, man.
But if you can't, you're gonna instantly find out they didn't react the way you thought that choice would get
Sure.
them to react.
Sure.
And now you're thinking, okay, this is how I could approach it differently. More times than not, when I'm leaving an audition, whether it's on Zoom or in person, those don't happen often anymore, but most of them are on Zoom or self-tape.
Okay.
I send it in or I do it, and then I'm like on the way home and I'm feeling pretty good about like, hey man, what a great opportunity that was just to get up. It felt wonderful.
Sure.
I think I'm going to go far in this. I might book. And then it hits you, oh, that's what they wanted.
That's why I didn't do well. Okay.
But
got
it felt good to do it. And you're
Felt
like, now
good.
you're like, okay,
the problem.
this is how I would have done it next time. And like, you look for those opportunities where it's like, how can I, they pop up these patterns of like,
Gotcha.
of opportunities. Like, yeah, there's going to be another opportunity and
Sure.
you're going to see it differently.
I totally get it.
So like, that's where, I mean, it's an acting class
Got
in
it.
that regard,
Very cool.
you know? And then if you book, that's where you get
That's
paid.
even better.
Yeah, that's like icing on the
So
cake.
what's the best feature film position that you would like to have? Or maybe you have had. I don't know.
I've never been to film, but I think I think I am perfect for all films.
Perfect for all films.
Yeah, oh yeah, every one of them. I'm an amazing person,
Okay.
and I don't care if it's a voiceover, podcast, TV show, film, educational film strips where they go beep. Bobby ran through the wall. Beep. Like I can do those. Like I'm awesome
okay.
at those. But like honestly, it's the opportunity to.
So romance, horror, drama, thriller, doesn't matter. You'd be perfect for all those.
Yeah, I want to do them all. Actually, I want to like kind of like.
Well, I mean, what we want and what we get are two different things. I'm asking you, like, what would be your perfect feature film for you?
For me, I think I'd play a really great evil dad.
An evil dad.
Maybe an evil stepdad.
It's like a stepdad, like a malicious stepdad.
Yeah, in like a Lifetime movie.
Okay. All right.
No,
I could see
Lifetime
that
can
actually.
work, dude. I'll do like
You got the look that could be on a post office wall.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got that.
I'm that kind of guy. Like I don't have kids, Mike, but then again, I wouldn't know. You know, it's like, look at this.
I wouldn't know.
Would you tell someone?
I dropped them off at the park. They don't follow me home.
Thankfully, especially when they're not your own. You know, like, hey kid, you just go back out there. You know, go rub some dirt in and get out of here.
Where'd Daddy go?
But I think honestly, I'd love to play villain because like villains it would be fun to play villain. Any dramedy.
Okay.
I think definitely a bad guy.
Bad guys. I keep hearing bad guy. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like your
I don't have an image of myself as a bad person or
But
like
you
a
would
bad
like
guy.
to play a bad guy.
Yeah, because like I'm always smiling and having a good time, and like I'm always like just joking around. Like everything's a little bit of a bullshit, facetious kind of like, hey, you know.
Mhm.
But like to play like a mean individual and
Okay.
to pull that out to me would be like a 180 for me. I wouldn't. It's not something I don't get to do often. So to be
Right.
that guy would be like, yeah, that'd be really fun. Like to, you know, bark orders at people. I like swearing.
You
too.
do. You like swearing.
I do.
You
I really
enjoy
do.
that.
Oh,
That's
very
great.
much
Is
so.
that very freeing to you?
Yeah,
Like do you like to swear at things or swear at people?
everything. Like
Everything. Everything
I
under the sun.
it's like Joe Pesci, man, in Casino, where it's like, you
What's your
fucking
favorite-
fuck, shit, mother. Oh, yeah. It's like,
Favorite cuss word? Go.
fuck.
There you go. Say it louder. Say it louder.
It's
It's a background.
I mean, there's other words too. Like I think the word like cunt is an amazing word.
It is an amazing
It's
word
the most powerful, like out of them
because
all.
it gets quite. It gets quite some looks.
Well, the
when
looks,
you say that.
the volume in the room is like you can hear the pin drop instantly.
Sure.
It gets attention,
Oh yeah, it does.
and
For
it
sure.
doesn't matter who says it.
No.
What gender? It doesn't. Like if that word's coming out of
Yes.
somebody's mouth,
Because it's just not commonly
You-
used.
Exactly, but you have
Not-
touched a nerve.
That's right.
If you're using
Absolutely.
that nerve. And that's respectable.
In any crowd.
Yeah,
In any crowd. Okay. All right. Got it. Bad guy. Want to be a bad guy. All right. Gotcha.
Kinda. Like a Hans Gruber, man.
I got you. I would be a sarcastic asshole that thinks the world's fucked.
Yeah, kind of like Chandler Bing.
That's
I don't know why
That's
I said
me.
him. But
that's me, and I'm like that on stage too because I've seen the world, and the world is fucked.
it's ugly out there.
It is. It is very ugly.
Yeah.
Um,
You'd make a good like asshole.
thank you. Appreciate it. I do it very well on stage.
The whole cynical thing, the black, you know, the rock and roll dad.
Got it.
Yeah. Rock and roll
Yeah.
stepdad would be like, I think,
Rock and roll
more-
stepdad.
Yeah.
Like the evil stepdad. $1 billion.
Exactly.
Kind of like that, right?
Totally.
Okay.
Why not? You could be the next Austin Powers villain.
Think so.
Yeah.
Maybe. Who knows? I don't know.
You'd rock them to death.
I rock them to death. Absolutely. Got it. So being on stage, what's your worst heckling experience that you've had? Heckling bombing experience.
It happened recently, actually.
Okay,
And I
where?
was really pissed.
Where was this?
It was at a Universal Bar and Grill.
Everybody bombs at UBG.
Bombing there doesn't bother. The worst bombing experience was in front of my family and friends, and that was the first time I did stand up in Chicago.
So wait a minute. So you talk about UBG, now you're talking about Chicago.
Well,
So
heckling or bombing. Heckling is I think
Okay,
that's-
heckling. Yeah.
So heckling happened recently at UBG, and I don't think
Okay.
I've ever really been heckled, but like I was in the middle of a joke, and a comedian or another person who does stand up comedy,
which is the worst.
right,
Which is the worst. Okay.
decides to in the middle of the joke finish my punchline without.
Oh.
And it wasn't my punchline.
Oh.
And I looked at the person, and of course I don't even know their name, and I wouldn't out them anyways. But like,
Sure.
and I
sure.
remember thinking like, that's really funny. That's great. But I was thinking to myself like, you stupid fucking cunt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I want to
how-
run you over with my car
What
now.
the fuck is your
Yeah.
problem? You know,
Yeah.
and like she was just like, sorry, I didn't even give that much, but like she was basically like having a good time, like, hey, I'm out with my friends, hey, I'm a comedian. And it's
Right.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you're not.
Yeah. Just kind of get over yourself.
Yeah.
You
You're
know,
talking during my set and you're
Yeah.
a comedian.
We're all. I mean,
you start 6 months ago and like,
Yeah, we're all here in a professional status. And one of the great things I think about going to UBG is that it's a lot of hardcore working comedians that go there.
Yeah.
That a lot of them do the road. So they do this for a living, and you learn a lot from them by being there, but you learn that by shutting up.
Yeah.
And listening and asking questions later.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a professional who does that.
no, I
know.
really, at the end of the day, I just thought like, and her tag or whatever she said was actually really funny, and I stole it and I put it in the joke. So like that's on her to like, I mean,
Right.
am I stealing it? No, actually, it was my premise. I was telling it in my set, and she added to it, and what she adds to my set
Is now yours.
is now mine,
That's right.
and that's how
Absolutely.
I treat hecklers. Like, oh, you want to play? Okay, well, we can come play, but keep in mind, I'm going to use you in my set any way I want to use
Right.
you in my set. You
Sure.
don't get to control that aspect. So if you want to play that world, we'll go into it. And that's where like the swearing might come. Cool.
Mhm.
If it came from an audience member, I'd be upset, but I'd be like, whatever. I would blame
Right.
myself because like, hey man, I probably wasn't tight enough in delivering and like it wasn't that good of a joke anyways. And if that's happening, then
Not
it's on me.
necessarily. I do think that if it comes from an audience, this is just my personal feelings, but it does come from an audience member. I think it is part of our job to be able to control that
Mhm.
and to be able to get by it as quickly as possible, because we don't want the show to turn around and be the one audience member.
Right.
Because the show, people paid to come and see you,
Right.
and they bought drinks to come and see you. They can go see the audience member for free on the sidewalk.
Right.
So it's part of our job to control that aspect of it, not slam the guy, but control it and move on. Because I had a situation like that, but it was an audience member. I was talking about being married, and I don't wear a ring because of I got in when I worked at a brewery. I got the ring caught under a keg, and it twisted and almost tore my finger off. And they had to basically cut the ring off.
Whoa.
It was turning my, so I just never wore another one again. It was because I kept working at the brewery, and then, time just passed, and it was kind of a traumatic experience. I almost lost my finger.
Right.
So I'm on stage.
Acceptable.
And,
It's acceptable.
And I'm talking about being married, and the guy goes like, "But you're not wearing a ring." And I turned around and I looked at him, and I had two choices. I could either slam the guy, like, "What are you trying to ask my relationship status?"
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm straight, I'm married.
Yeah. Right.
I could have done that, but all that's going to do is add fuel to the fire. So I didn't do that. I just turned around, I stopped what I was doing. I said I used to work for a brewery, and I had an accident where I almost tore off my finger, and that's why I don't wear a ring, but I really am married. And then he just kind of had an aloof attitude. Oh, okay.
That's a good realness.
I think that he was expecting like an
combative.
exchange of words. Like, he came there
Mhm.
for a show, but he wanted to be the center of attention.
Yeah.
So part of the heckler situation is to deflate them and not give them what they want.
Yeah.
Or ignore them, and ignoring them kind of deflates them too.
I just recently saw on a comedy page
Mm.
on Facebook.
Yeah.
A heckler guy was giving a comedian a hard time.
Right.
It was a black and white, like one of those wide angle in the corner of the room
Sure.
camera angles. But they asked this guy to leave, and like they had actually temporarily stopped the show, her set,
Which is terrible.
right, so that they
It's
could
awful.
get up and get out.
Yeah.
Right? And they were kind of front row. The guy literally stood up, and as he was kind of like acting like nothing big, and then as nobody was watching, he flipped his table, which was like a picnic table, like
Right.
this.
Sure.
And like then he kind of charged the comedian who was a female, and this guy looked like he was a good 50 or 60 pounds on her
Right.
minimum.
Yeah.
Right. And then like she was like stepping into him like, let's go.
Yeah.
So
See.
it's just like, whoa, dude. So like
so
this confusing
that
thing.
now becomes the show, and that's the reason why you wanted to take that aside, deflate it as quickly as possible, and
Yeah.
then move on, because that's not what people came to see.
Yeah.
So, but I'm glad that you talked about that.
Yeah.
Last thing.
Yeah.
Why stand up? I mean, as stand-up comedians, we all have a different reason why. But I mean, was there a certain thing in your life, or something you just tried and decided to keep with it, or what's the story there, Joe Moran, for stand up for you?
What got me into stand-up comedy was I was at my doctor's office, and he said I should try it a couple days a week.
Your doctor.
Yeah.
What kind of doctor?
GP, general.
Okay, general. Okay, gotcha.
So
So he's giving you a physical, and then he says,
yeah, he says, you're not doing enough to like destroy your life, and your organs are pink.
Okay.
What are you doing? Like, why don't you do some stand up, drink like a fish, do some drugs,
There you go. Absolutely.
stumble on your words in front of hundreds of people at a
There you
time,
go.
and
Destroy your self confidence and then rebuild it.
and then get to a point where you have nothing,
Gotcha.
and then start over. And so I basically did that in a nutshell.
Right on.
But it started in I had been working in the trucking industry
Yeah.
for like 10 years, and
It's a long time.
I became a real asshole, basically. Just the way you talk to people and get stuff done. That culture was very like
Yeah. Well, I'm sure.
negative and just like
Yes.
very stressful. And I don't know. So like I got to a point where I felt like, all right, Oh, and I was getting ill. Had some health issues with this company, and I ended up in the hospital while on a business trip. This is what really broke it. And I called them and said, "Hey, this is what's going on." I sent them an email. 6 hours later, no response whatsoever. And I was like, it's kind of odd. You guys preach this whole family thing, and then I go to Florida on a business trip, and I end up in the ER doing business for you, which you underpaid me for to begin with.
Right.
And then I tell you what's happening, and there's no sense of concern whatsoever.
But that's the norm for all companies.
Very much so. And
that is the norm. I personally think that I know the reason why.
Yeah, I think it's more liability.
It's that there's so many taxes they have to pay and so many permits they have to pay, and they have to do this, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, I'll just do the easiest thing. I will just treat my staff like garbage.
Totally.
And underpay them. And then after a while, that just becomes the norm.
Yeah.
And then they just proceed with that.
And I guess it almost like a hopeless feeling where I got to a point where I was like, you know what? If this is what it is, if this is what I'm going to be doing here. I moved to California to book trucks and stuff like that.
Sure,
as noble as a profession as that is, driving a truck is like what keeps the economy going, man. But that's not my big picture here. And so I got to that point and I said, I'm done. I'm going to go do stand-up comedy.
Yeah, why not?
I'm just going to be a stand-up comedian.
There you go.
And that was it, man. Next thing you know, I'm like, all right.
I'm already beaten down. I might as well just go ahead and go for broke, right?
Give me my guitar. I'll go to Hollywood Boulevard.
There we go.
We'll open the case and we'll just hey, whatever, dude. Give me what you can and sure, why not? And so I got to that point where it's I'm so not happy with what I'm doing in my life.
Right.
That we're just gonna do this.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you. I kind of had the same similar story, but mine's a much more longer process.
When did you start?
I started late in life. I started at 47.
Okay.
So I've only been doing it for 3 years. I'm 50 now.
Okay.
So I've been only doing it for 3 years, but I was in the Navy for 20 years, and no one says I'm going to be in the Navy for 20 years. It's just 10 years went by, and they kept giving me re-enlistment bonuses. So I was young. I had no direction whatsoever. I didn't have the attention span to go to school yet, but I knew that I needed to support myself, and I didn't want to live at home under the tyranny of home that I was living in at the time. So I went in the Navy, which was much easier than living at home.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a cakewalk. The Navy was compared to that.
Okay.
And then I saw the world, and then 10 years passed by, and I was tired and I was exhausted. And they said, you do another 10 years and you get your retirement. And then I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And then when I get out, I can go and do what I want to go do because somebody else will be flipping the bill.
Yeah.
I'll have my retirement.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. But then, you don't realize that a war can break out. And it did. And I was in and out of Iraq for 8 years.
Ooh.
Yeah. Became a chief. And when you become a chief, then Congress basically gives you an appointment letter, but they basically kind of own you at that point.
So were you a master chief?
I wouldn't know. I was just a chief.
Okay.
I was an E7 at the time. And then I started having some physical problems, back problems, and that sort of thing. And the doctor told me, we do an MRI and we find something, we military retire you, you're not gonna get your full benefits.
Ooh.
15 years in and out of Iraq for 8 of that? No, I don't think so. So I just
bear the pain.
I bared the pain, got out, had multiple, and then I dealt with those problems for almost the first 5 years.
Did you end up having a surgery or?
No, I have 4 herniated discs and I have spinal stenosis on top of that. And if you get the surgeries, it's 50% chance it could work or not. But it's a 9-month recovery time to find out if it worked or not. And I just wasn't willing to do that.
I had a spinal fusion.
Yeah. They wanted to do that. Instead, I got the steroid injections.
Yeah.
Is what I got. And so it's just, but it's still very uncommon. And I have a bad hip on top of that too. So.
Do you do any? Core?
Yeah, I do exercises and I do all that sort of thing.
I know everyone hates these exercises.
Yeah,
I hate them.
But you got to do them. So
I feel like Jello if I don't.
But I got past all that. I worked for Universal Studios for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I taught orientation for them. So I was used to speaking in front of 50, 80 people about the most boring material you could ever think of. And then the pandemic happened. And then the exciting thing that happened to me was I applied for unemployment, and the state of California decided to take my military pension and subtract it from my unemployment benefit. And then I got nothing. But I paid into it, but I got nothing. And then I was kind of like, why am I working for a company that is strictly just a paycheck and I don't use any of the benefits?
No.
It's time for me to leave. So I
Good for
left
you.
and started, just working for myself. And I was already up in front of people talking, and I liked it. And I graduated from the Art Institute of California as a copywriter. So I
Right on,
I
dude.
used to write
Yeah.
SEO copy. So I have an advertising
Isn't that
degree.
in Pasadena?
They have one here, but I graduated from one in San Diego.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So, and I worked in the advertising realm
Game.
for a long time. So I just decided that I'm going to try it, and I wrote it for a while too.
Right.
And then I started doing it, and then, I bombed and I sucked and all that other kind of stuff. And then eventually I just kind of found my voice,
It's a muscle.
Yeah.
You got to exercise that
Keep-
muscle.
Yeah. So
Good
now I've been doing it for 3 years, and I produce shows, and I'm on the road, and,
Right on.
so it's all good. It's a journey, and who knows what's going to happen. So
Getting started late is actually, I started when I was 30. No, I started in 2016 or 15. 2015 was when I started.
gotcha.
So I haven't been doing much longer than you, but I was like 40 or 39
Gotcha.
when I started. And to me it was like, and I even felt then, I was like, man, I'm so glad I waited, because it's always been in the back of my mind to do stand-up.
Sure.
I waited until almost 40. And I am very grateful that I waited until I was 40, because I just wasn't ready 20 years ago.
I don't
I
think
just-
so. I was either. I don't think that I
I'm cool.
have.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I'm cool with it too now. At first I wasn't, but now I am, because I think I would have quit multiple times
Yeah.
in my 20s, because I'm like, wow, I don't have the money, and no, I'm not willing to starve to be able to do this. I'm going to quit and then
Mhm.
come back to it later. And then it's almost like having to start all over again every single
hard.
time. So I think I'm in a good part of my life now to be able to do it. And then, and have the realization when you're older that there's no expectations.
Yeah. I think that also helps too, because you're a little older, you're more mature.
Right.
So like your expectations are not to like, I need to get this done, this set in, because I got a sitcom. I'm trying to like get the Joe Moran show going. It's not like that.
Right.
You remove that desire or whatever it is you're trying to do, that, I guess, what's the word? What the benefits that could come with
Sure.
being successful.
Right.
If you can get rid of that whole side of it and you start doing it for yourself, I don't think I would be able to do that at 20.
No, I would not have been able to do, because I wouldn't have that foresight
Yeah.
at all.
And I was still wrapped, like you said earlier, you're not fully developed. Your brain's not fully developed until you're 25 years old. So if that's the case at 20, who knows? Like, I just know I wasn't there for it. I
Right.
just wasn't there to do it. I didn't have the right frame of mind. But
Yeah.
once I started doing it closer to 40, I was like, shit, I wasted some time, but am I glad I'm here?
Yeah, and I wanted to see the world too, because I wanted to see what was out there.
You
'Cause
gotta
I
experience
kind of
things.
have that personality, like I don't want to miss anything,
Yeah.
but I also want to see it for myself to see whether or not
Yeah.
it's something that I am interested in.
Totally.
And so I've seen the world. I've had a great time
and-
talking to you.
I can talk
you're
for
always,
hours, man.
Yeah, you're always a lot of fun to hang out with. I love hanging out with you at UBG and all the other places that
Same
we go
here,
to.
man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. This is Joe Moran. You want to give a shout out real quick?
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm Joe Moran. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram at the Joe Moran, TheJoeMoran. Also at Jokers Productions.
Jokers
.com.
Productions.
Yeah, we have a production
Right on.
company. Joe and Carrie. Jokers.
I love it. I love it. Well, thanks for being with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank
okay?
you. We'll see you
You got
next
it.
time, man.
You got it, man.
All right. Later.
Hey, thanks for tuning in and supporting the Me and D show. We really appreciate it. This is our last episode. We're going to be going on to other projects, but we really learned a lot from doing the show, right?
We did.
So, I mean, we've learned about how to create a timeline and reaching out to guests, and then creating these questions, and then formulating a show when we really had no idea how to do it at all. So it's been a really great journey and a lot of fun. But you're going to be going on to, what's your next project?
So I've been trying to start a new YouTube channel, and I've also been learning how to do marketing as well for it. It's called Theme Park Jesus, and the whole point of the channel is to basically visit theme parks and to essentially just kind of prank people dressed up as Jesus. And essentially that's pretty much what it is. It's just kind of like making fun of the concept of religion and making fun of the concept of conformity.
Right.
You know?
Just kind of keeping it light, right?
Yeah, and just
having some
that-
fun with it.
Just to have fun with it, you know, because I think in this day and age, a lot of people get easily offended. And I feel
True.
like I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to contribute to that.
Okay, right on. That sounds great. I love it.
I'm just gonna mess with people because why not? But yeah, you know,
Yeah, that sounds great.
I did test out the character at Six Flags,
Uh-huh.
and the one thing I realized is that if you're out in Valencia, nobody gives a shit.
Right on. Very
Nobody,
cool.
nobody cares.
I love it. Okay.
Orange County is another story.
I definitely look forward to seeing Theme Park Jesus on your YouTube channel, which is Scream Scream Studios, right?
No, it's actually a separate channel.
Separate channel. Okay.
It's going to be Theme Park Jesus.
Theme Park Jesus.
I will be creating an Instagram soon.
I think
because-
that's a really smart thing that you're doing, is making its own channel.
No, yeah, because the thing is that, you know, like I was trying to say, you know, back when YouTube was kind of like in its infancy, you could make a video, just uploading it, and it would get millions of views, thousands of views. But nowadays, you know, you have to like go on social media, you have to promote everything now.
Sure.
Because
Absolutely.
everybody's lives are on social media at this point, to the point to where now that you have to like not just upload a video. Like if you just upload a video now, no one's going to really see it.
Right. You have to do a
But
lot
you
of
have to
advertising.
you have to do that now.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
So it's just that's the one thing I really, really, really learned, and because of that, I'm going to be starting my own Theme Park Jesus Instagram page.
That's great. I'm excited for you. I'm going to finish out being on the road this year, and then once that's done, then the beginning of the year, I'm not sure exactly what date, I'll be developing a new show as well, and you'll just have to stay tuned for that, which I will be putting that on Instagram and Facebook and also TikTok as well. I think that's pretty much it, right?
That's right. I also do have a TikTok as well. It's theme_park_Jesus. Be sure to check that out. Just started it as well. We'll be uploading a lot of stuff on there, along with Instagram and of course YouTube.
Very cool. So thanks for tuning in to the Me and
D Show,
where we talk about anything from stand-up comedy to
guitar, and anything in between.
That's right. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in.